You thought that when you work on the shadow, things will get better, right? People promised you that. You tried it, but you noticed it didn't work out exactly like people told you, like it would, right? Even though something happened, the full potential was still not unleashed. And this is what this video will be about, how to really unleash this hidden potential, okay? There's one big mistake that people make when it comes to the dark side of the shadow. Because of that, they suffer unnecessarily. And yes, you heard me right. You can actually avoid a lot of the suffering, okay? And then I will talk about the other side. That's the gold in the shadow, the real hidden potential. The shadow has like two sides. One side where it's like the dark side, and the other side is like the potential. It's more about who you can become, right? So one side, the shadow, is more about who you are right now, but it's still unconscious, it's still suppressed, there's still resistance. And then the side of who you can become, your hidden potential. So what is now this big mistake that creates more unnecessary suffering? So when people start with the shadow work or watching videos about the shadow, it all seems dark and gloomy. Like you have to face your shadow, you have to face the unconsciousness. And it's true, but what is now the big mistake? The thing is that a lot of people focus way too much on their past and all of these suppressed things. They think it's about seeking it, right? You seek now this unconscious stuff. You ask yourself questions. Where do I feel shame, right? Where do I feel bad about myself? All these things, right? Now the thing is, by doing that, you create unnecessary suffering because the mind finds what it seeks. Okay? So by focusing more and more on the past, on this dark side, your mind starts to find more and more things why things are wrong with you, of how you are, right? So it's at the end, you feel just more depressed. Does this now have to be? No. Okay? There's only a certain amount of suffering that you need to release. This is the real pain that you need to release. This is the resistance. So there's like small amount of resistance. This amount is what you have to release. And the big amount of suffering comes from you over focusing on the past, on this dark shadow side. So how you can avoid this mistake now? What do you do instead? So the real thing how that works is you don't really focus that much on the shadow. You focus on expanding your consciousness, and you just focus further and on what you want in life, okay? And just focusing on your goals or the hidden potential that we'll talk about now after this one, okay? You just stay as conscious as possible, right? And when I mean conscious, like in a meditative state, like living in the now, right? And you focus on the positive, but if the negative appears, you don't resist it. You don't try to deny that. Then you can ask yourself, okay, what is the belief behind it? Like, you know, just observe this resistance, right? So you focus on the positive, but when the resistance is there, you just acknowledge that rather than fighting it. And this is how it works, where you don't create unnecessary suffering. You focus on the positive, but if the negative appears, you don't deny that. Most people do it to turn around. They focus on the negative, and then they focus more on the negative of the past, or they think they have to focus more on the shadow because they hope that it finally will be gone. But the truth is, it will take a while, maybe even many years, or maybe even decades, you know. But the good thing is that means there's even more hidden potential in you than you thought. Okay, so this is the big mistake. That means it's way better to focus on the golden shadow. Okay, what I call the golden shadow, I mean the gold in the shadow, right? The good side of the shadow. And this is the side where your hidden potential is. So let's start with this, because this is the positive side, right? And if resistance comes, you just acknowledge that rather than seeking on purpose the bad. Okay, so this hidden potential is basically about who you can become, okay? These traits that you suppress in yourself that are disowned, right? It's not about just who you are, it's about who you can be, right? So That means most of your potential is actually in who you can be, okay? And not just in this dark shadow of how people say. So how can you find out actually who you can become? This gold in the shadow, right? This hidden potential. You find it out by making yourself a list. By making yourself a list of people that you admire. List at least 10 people if possible, maybe 15. Okay? You list simply people that you admire. It doesn't matter whether these people are still alive or dead, or whether these people are from comics, anime, or movies. Okay? So just anyone that you admire, even a comic figure, anyone, or your neighbor. Okay? So someone who you admire or you find amazing, something about this person. Okay? As a bonus, this is a little bonus, you can also add to the list of people who you are jealous of, or where the signals are mixed. So you kind of admire them, but at the same time, you feel resistance towards them. You feel jealous towards them. You can add these people towards the list as well if you want to. Okay? So now the next step. Why do we do this here? Why the exercise at all? So the reason for this exercise, the start of the exercise, is because the things that you admire in other people, this is where your golden shadow is. Okay? So this is the key. The people that you admire, or whoever you admire, this is how we find out the hidden potential. Okay? So what do we do now? So basically these people are a projection of your inner self, of who you can become. These people show you who you can become. You don't have to be fully like the person. If you find the person not good, but you admire one thing, it's more about this one trait that you like about them. So you don't have to be like the person. You don't have to be like the person at all. It's more about this one trait, or maybe two traits that you admire in them. So now here comes now the question. What traits do you admire in them? You have now the list of the people. Now you write down this one trait that you admire in them. Okay? And you do this for every person. It can be also multiple traits. And when I mean traits, like is just try to describe it in just one word. It can be discipline, power, love, charisma. Okay? Grace, something like that. Okay? So just one trait. And now you just ask yourself, what does that mean to you? So what does that mean to you personally? When you look at them, you see discipline, what does that mean to you? Overcoming oneself? Doing things no matter how you feel? What does that mean, right? And so now you have the clarity already about your hidden potential, okay? You write this down with everyone. This one trait, maybe it can be also two, something like that. And now you write down what does it mean to you, right? You write this down like in one sentence. It means for me the following. I do whatever it takes. Or love means to me to love people unconditionally. Okay? So now you have the list of these people. You have the clarity. But how do you tap in this potential? How do you do that? The key is simply in the focus and in the energy. So you just want to come to these kind of people. It doesn't have to be specifically this person on the list. You just want to come with these people of this characteristic as close as possible, right? So basically, you can start to read books about especially these type of topics, about this trait, like if it's like discipline or confidence. Okay, you can start to hear stories on YouTube about that. You can also spend time with people like that. Proximity is power. So if you have people close to you like that, it's even more powerful than if you do it just online. Okay? So you just focus on these things. You just focus on these things by hearing stories about that, watching movies that are more about that, or just visualizing that as well, visualizing how you have that already in you. Visualizing before you do an activity, how you embody this trait, right? You embody already this trait, is already part of you. You visualize that. And you spend more time with people like that, right? So you try to come energetically as close as possible by simply focusing focus on that and try to come also physically closer to these type of people, right? But you don't have to do it physically if you don't have anyone. You can just do it over podcast, YouTube videos, whatever, right? So this is what you can do. And one thing I want to tell you is what is also good is if you can allow yourself also to see yourself like that, like you have it already in you right now, right? So you see yourself already as like this kind of person. You focus on that to slowly allow yourself to see yourself more like this person already right now, right? And the last thing is, if resistance arises, so sometimes resistance will arise, yes, resistance will come. What do you do? What you do is that you simply observe this resistance. You don't try to fight it. You also don't try to seek constantly the resistance as we talked about at the start, right? Because this just multiplies the shadow. You actually collect more resistance by focusing all the time on resistance. You focus on the positive, and when the negative arises, you don't suppress that. You don't put it away. You acknowledge it, right? So you observe this resistance in form of the emotion in your body. You don't fight it. You let it be, right? You observe in a conscious way. You can also meditate on this resistance. Meditate and allow this feeling to be in a safe space if possible. There it works even better. So yeah, this is what you can do. By the way, if you want to see more videos about how to tap into this new identity, then I will link it here. Okay, this can help you even more to tap into your golden shadow and the hidden potential, basically. Okay. And yeah, comment below. So what are the traits that you admire, who you will be, who you will become, or who you are already right now? Is it courage? Is it justice? Is it moral? There, of course, can be multiple traits, right, that you have. So if you see in the list, 5 people have the same trait as courage, that means this is a very important one for you. You can have also multiple traits that you want to embody, right? So there can be multiple ones, but if you have a lot of people who just have all the same trait, it's a big sign that you should go for that. So yeah, comment below. Okay, what are the traits and what video maybe you want to see next, something like that. And see you next time. Bye bye.